So there's plenty of there for them to. But let's put 5 guys. An FEC violation is a far cry from a criminal investigation. Right.
But it's also important to know, Evan, you brought up the payment. The bank also sent an email to Michael Cohen's Trump Organization email, which also was a different trigger and probably the reason why all of this is happening. I think the last point on this, we didn't talk much about the tax aspects of this. Maybe he won't have to release his return, but there will be something we will finally learn about Donald Trump.
I want to bring in Gloria Borger right now, and after her, I'll bring in Dan Best.
Nobody's going to get their tax returns.
I was just communicating with somebody who suggested to me, who's knowledgeable about this, that reminded me that,
they get to see it on the live chat.
Never part of the campaign. Made a point always of saying, I'm not a part of the campaign. I didn't join the campaign. And so Mueller's investigation in terms of so-called collusion with the Russians, etc., is really about people who worked for that campaign.
It's gonna cause me to wear glasses.
For the campaign. So perhaps this is a second investigation. We don't.
I never needed it until I got this thing. My eyes are too close to it.
About President Trump, you know this better than anyone, is why until recently has he been reluctant to criticize Russia? Now that we should point out that has changed in the last day or two because they kind of reluctant to it. But why? And also, why won't he release his tax returns with a lot of speculation about possible business ties that Michael Cohen might know about?
And Michael Cohen might actually have his tax returns, by the way. He is his personal attorney, and that I believe is probably, and again, I'm speculating here, but he's a political guy. I think he wanted to go into the White House. That did not happen. And he remains Donald Trump's personal guy. So I think when you look at the story thing, it was an LLC, you might be likely to look at other real estate deals that over the years that Michael Cohen has done for Donald Trump. Branding deals, real estate, whatever it is. And you might want to look at how those deals were financed. And again, since the special counsel is looking at the campaign, Michael Cohen's not a part of that. I mean, we see here this picture. He did testify before Congress. As of last week, I was told that he had not yet appeared before the special counsel. I don't know if that's changed or not, but that's sort of, I think, in the 5 days ago, as of 5 or 6 days ago. But again, it could be separate, could be a new thing.
I want to bring Dana Bash and then David. I want to get your reaction. Dana Bash, you know Michael Cohen. You've been reporting on this. What's your thing?
Well, first and foremost, the fact that Michael Cohen's lawyer in the statement that they just released says explicitly that the FBI seized the privileged communications between my client, Michael Cohen, and his clients, is going to send his most important client, his most famous client, the President of the United States, probably going bonkers. And that is something that not only am I saying from watching the president and how he reacts when the feds, Mueller or anyone else, get close to him, but I'm just communicating with some people who are close to the president, who know the way he reacts, who are bracing for that. So we don't know exactly what the FBI got, but what we do know.
Stormy Daniels' lawyer said this was going to happen. Stormy Daniels' lawyer said this was going to happen. He said it on the scene 60 Minutes. He said, you think this is something now? Wait till 1 month. Wait till 1 month. What's going to happen?
Just last week, had his office raided and documents seized. Having with his clients just kind of looking at Twitter, and certainly the president's allies are looking at Twitter, wondering, talking to him behind closed doors right now, wondering what he's going to do, because you never know with this president.
I'm not just saying today, I just heard from another source who has a little more knowledge about this, said that he does not believe this is about other real estate deals. So I asked what it was about. I haven't heard back yet, but he believes that it's more limited than that, which leads me to question, is this about Stormy? And the way that money was paid.
I want to bring in, we don't have to talk on the phone with a source close to Trump who knows President Trump. We have one right here on set.
He
How
tweeted.
might, I mean, do you think
in
that
there
his
defending
attorney,
Trump.
Michael Cohen's attorney, putting that statement about
I ain't heard nothing
the
from Tito since
president's
No, I said Trump ain't tweeted.
No, we ain't gonna say nothing about this yet.
You think that was designed to
Nah,
to
nobody
make
wants
President
Hey,
Trump-
he is talking about some this is illegal. Yeah, Trump got three-dimensional chair.
You know, they check their bill.
You know, 15 Ford, Congress side Ford. Decision has to be made whether the president's going to go sit down with the special counsel, right? This makes me think, if I were the president, why sit down? What's the upside of sitting down with the special counsel at this point? The kind of tactics that are being undertaken, if I was the president, I'd look at it and say, what's the upside? It's only going to get me in trouble sitting down and talking to him. So why bother? Send me some written interrogatories. I'll respond. I'm not going to sit down with you. And I think that's what's happening right here. You see Mueller kind of pulling that thread. I agree with Dana. This got his attention. I assure you. In the White House, they're talking about it at this very moment.
When we come back, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk to a New Yorker, an attorney, and a Trump supporter, Congressman Lee Zeldin of New York, and get his take on all of this. We're gonna squeeze in a very quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Breaking news.
Leaving a career to follow a calling takes courage.
How many of y'all voted for Trump? Well, your homie going to jail. Right. They went and got Denzel Washington to get that warrant. Go get the judge. Go get him to sign the warrant so that we can go in there and make this raid legal. All right. Yeah, we gonna do a no knock. Come on, Jake. Yeah, I tried to get my dad involved so that we can get more details about the whole thing. They don't say what they took yet. They just raided the office. Now, this is Trump's personal lawyer. So they get all his transactions that he's done. So before he had a chance to burn any records of like any way money has been swindled over to him, you know, why he's saying they want to see the financial transactions between Stormy Daniels and this lawyer. Because once Trump came out and said, I don't know why the lawyer did it, and the lawyer said, I paid the money. Why would Donald Trump's personal lawyer be paying money? And then Trump said he don't even know why the lawyer did it. He should have never opened his mouth. That was grounds to let the judge get the paperwork to go in there and do the raid. Now a judge can sign off on it because now this could be campaign fraud. So who knows what's all in those? Because this is his personal lawyer. Michael Cohen is his personal lawyer. So you get to find out this exceeds way. This is, and his guy's trying to say, okay, it's just an FCC violation. It's not an FCC violation. This is a violation of the United States of America. The campaign fraud. That's a very serious charge because he's in the highest office because of it. If they look at it that way, like, dude, you committed campaign fraud. The FCC won't let me be. All right, here we go. Let's see Cohen. Cohen always looked dopey anyway. He's the dopey looking lawyer.
President Trump's longtime lawyer, Michael Cohen, Stephen Ryan, Michael Cohen's lawyer, released this statement.
Michael Dopey.
Today, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York executed a series of search warrants and seized the privileged communications between my client, Michael Cohen, and his clients. Of course, one of those clients is the President of the United States. I've been advised by federal prosecutors that the New York action isn't part of referral by the Office of Special Counsel Robert Mueller. CNN's Jeff Zeleny joins me now. And Jeff, you're learning that President Trump, he's watching right now.
Indeed, Jake. I am told that the president has been watching news coverage of this development this afternoon from the White House. I am told by a White House official this was not coming as a surprise to the president. He had a heads up in some way that this had happened earlier today. Of course, he is dealing with much on his plate today, potential strikes on Syria, other matters here. But the president, I'm told, has been watching news coverage this afternoon on this, has been being briefed on this. Jake, what we do not know is if the president has spoken directly to Michael Cohen, but you would certainly believe they probably have or they will. It is important to point out, as you have been mentioning, the president has been a longtime client. Michael Cohen is an advisor, a confidant of his. Just last week on Air Force One on Thursday, the president was asked directly for the first time about Stormy Daniels, and he referred reporters to Michael Cohen. He said, "You'll have to ask Michael Cohen about this. You'll have to ask him about this payment of $130,000." So the president, as we know, is in a routine communication with Michael Cohen. He's at Mar-a-Lago. He's been at the White House several times. He talks to him on the phone frequently. But this afternoon, Jake, we do know the president has been watching news coverage of this. Certainly is paying very careful attention to all of this here. That's all we know at this point, that the president indeed watching. Unclear if he's spoken to Michael Cohen. Jake.
All right, Jeff Zeleny for us. Thank you so much. I want to bring in Congressman Lee Zeldin, a Republican from New York, a supporter of President Trump. Your reaction, sir, to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York raiding the offices of the president's attorney, Michael Cohen.
Well, there's so much information that we just don't have yet. I've been sitting here listening over the course of the show and following some of the news here coming in on Twitter and whatnot while listening to your coverage. So there's a lot of unanswered questions. I will say, taking off my Congress hat, putting on my attorney hat for a second, it's really hard to be going after an attorney when you have a lot of attorney-client privilege, not just related to obviously Mr. Cohen's highest profile client, but really all of his clients. So there's a lot to learn that I don't have the answers to. But it is a little concerning, though, to be hearing this news of going after the attorney and acquiring and raiding so much of the attorney-client privilege.
Well, that's what's so stunning about it. If it were a business partner of President Trump, it would be shocking and it would be a big news story. But the idea that there would be a sign-off, one presumes, for a special case like this from the Justice Department for the raid of the offices of the president's attorney. Either this is an egregious violation of attorney-client privilege and civil rights, or there is a mountain of evidence suggesting that the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office have to do this right now.
Right, and that's a big question that I don't have the answer to either, and I'm sure we'll learn more without too much delay. But there's been a debate in this country with regards to the scope of Director Mueller's probe.
Man, it's going down.
I hear is that
it's going down.
To make a referral to the Southern District. We're starting to see others. The beginning of the process with Director Mueller was first appointed as the special counsel.
There was a very narrow focus related.
Yeah, I think the president knew that raid was coming, and they went and got stuff out of there.
Cybersecurity with the hacks of the DNC, DCCC, John Podesta, looking at election day itself and what kind of cyber efforts were done by the Russians to try to test systems around election day. So that was a different type of investigation than what we're starting to see with these indictments that have been coming out, and then today's raid. A lot of this stuff is way beyond the mandate of why the special counsel was created in the first place. So I think that while we're waiting to learn additional information about what happened today, this is only going to fuel more energy to that debate of exactly what is Director Mueller's end game here. What exactly is the limit to the scope of what he's doing? What's the chain of command? And where are we going? Because I don't want a president, when you get elected, to face this where their political opposition or just the way the system is set up, that they operate their entire presidency under a cloud where anyone connected to the president for the term of their presidency, everyone faces the possibility of an investigation, indictment for anything, going back no matter how far in the past as well. So I think that's the next level of this conversation, way beyond just getting to the bottom of what happened today.
All right, Congressman Lee Zeldin, Republican of New York, thank you so much for your time, sir. Appreciate it. Let's go back to CNN's Gloria Borcher, who has some more news. Gloria, what are you learning?
I do. From a source familiar, it seems like that this was, I'm told, about Stormy Daniels, and that the documents they were looking for were apparently about Stormy Daniels. I asked the question whether that also might include other payments to other women, and my source would not say anything else. But the source wanted to wave me off the notion that I had been talking about previously, which is the sort of Trump Tower aspect of any of this, or real estate aspect of any of this. And that may answer the question about why Mueller thought this was completely out of his purview, because of course his purview is not Stormy Daniels in any way, shape, or form, and that's maybe the reason he referred it. But my source says narrower in scope, and that's what it was about. And the payments, then, would this be over an FEC violation? I mean, this seems like an awful lot to do over an FEC violation. So we'll have to let this unravel a little bit.
All right, Gloria Borcher, thanks so much. CNN's Evan Press is back with me. So this was a referral by Mueller's office. This is not part of the special counsel investigation. Apparently, Bob Mueller and his team found out some information that was not related to their purview. Tell us about the regulation that dictates to Mueller and his team what they should do next.
Right, the regulations that govern special counsels says that you have to go and get permission from the Attorney General. In this case, it's Ron Rosenstein, who is the acting Attorney General for the purposes of this investigation. And I'll read you a part of what the regulations say. It says that if the special counsel comes across information that suggests that require additional investigation that is outside of their purview, it says here, he or she shall consult with the Attorney General, who will determine whether to include additional matters within the special counsel's jurisdiction or assign them elsewhere. In other words, Rod Rosenstein would have the power to say, Mueller, you continue to do this, and you investigate this. Again, if it has to do with Stormy Daniels, this is now part of your jurisdiction. Or he can say, we're going to kick it over to Manhattan and the U.S. Attorney's Office, which has a very large and very robust criminal white-collar practice there, and they can do this type of investigation. This is the kind of thing that they do day in and day out, and it looks like that's exactly what has happened here. So Rod Rosenstein has determined that we're not going to have a repeat of Ken Starr. When we begin with a real estate deal in Arkansas, end up in a good dress, right? We're going to keep Mueller on the straight and narrow, because that's been, frankly, a criticism from the people close to the president.
And you just heard Congressman Lee Zeldin raising the issue as well.
Right, and I think they've been harping on this idea that, Mueller is going far afield. But in this case, it appears that Mueller has decided we're staying with the straight and narrow, and Rod Rosenstein has signed off on it.
Or maybe Rod Rosenstein could strain into that. Also, I think, as a part of the special counsel statute, it does say, and I could be mistaken, but you can read it again, Evan. I think it says the special prosecutor has to conclude prosecution before issuing his report. That he put this outside of the scope of that. This could continue down its own path. If you notice, the prosecution of Manafort and Gates is taking place this summer pretty quickly. on an expedited kind of fast track for perhaps a fall referral of the rest of the matters.
So hold that thought. We're going to talk about much more on this breaking news story. The FBI raiding the office of Michael Cohen, the personal lawyer and confidant of President Trump. We're going to squeeze in one more quick break. Stay with us.
Oh, straight like that. Where's Olivia Pope at this time? I don't know where Olivia Pope is. Oh, this is for some watch stuff. Okay. Yep. So y'all gonna let me know, man. Is this the end of Trump, or you think he's gonna survive this too? I think he'll survive it. Trump is a survivor. I was just watching House of Cards before this happened. I was watching House of Cards. Trump is Frank Underwood. Nah, Frank is a lot more. Nah, Frank knows he's a politician. Frank moves a lot different than Trump. Trump just dumb. He's dumb in there. He really doesn't know what he's doing.